My name is Patricia, PS Milan 2 underscores on Instagram, and this is my YouTube channel. Most people think that you need a lot of money to get into real estate, but the crazy thing about it is I got into real estate with literally no money and just using business credit and hard money. And in this YouTube channel, I'm gonna show you exactly how I did that. And if you're new here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. My name is PS Milan 2 underscores on Instagram. My real name is Patricia, and I'm gonna show you exactly how I got into real estate with literally no money down, just using credit and funding. So before we start, I'm gonna talk about my story on how I got into real estate and why I decided to get into real estate. So the beginning of the story is I understood that I needed to invest into assets, things that make me more money in order for me to be financially free. I understood that one of the things that make me more money is real estate because it is something that can create generational wealth for your family. If you buy one property that pays you $1,000 a month every single month, now you create passive income that can essentially pay for your rent, it could pay for your car note, it could pay for your bills, it could pay for whatever it is that you want it to pay for. So you got to make sure that all assets, everything that you invest into, pay for all your liabilities. So I understood I needed to buy assets, which included real estate or other businesses or anything like that, that allowed me to make more money every single month so it could pay for the things that don't make me any money, like my liabilities, like my house, my car, and so on and so forth, right? So that's what I understood. So once I understood that, I understood, okay, hey, I need to start getting into real estate. I need to buy property, but how do I do this if I don't really have that much money? So I'm from the city of Philadelphia, so I didn't really have that much money. I didn't have any credit or anything like that to understand, like, how do I even buy real estate? How do I even get into this business if I don't have that much money? So once I understood that I needed to leverage my credit, or I understood the credit game, I understood like I could really get into any business that I want to once I get access to capital. So that's when I started fixing my credit and building my credit and just understanding my credit and just understanding everything about it so I can get into this game. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I did it. Like I said, I needed to make sure that I buy assets. I needed to buy the assets, which was the real estate. How do I do that? I needed money. How did I get the money? I went ahead and accessed business funding and hard money to use both of these things to buy the property. So I'm gonna show you exactly how I did that as well in this video. What happened was my dad already had a property. He had a property, but he had it sitting there for literally years. So it's probably been like 20 years that he had this house sitting there, right? Just collecting dust pretty much. So, and possibly like the city of Philadelphia probably would have took the property if he probably didn't fix it up and stuff like that. So what I did was I decided to fix up the property. And I understood the credit game. I was already into the Airbnb industry. I had got over $50,000 in funding. I probably already had got like $100,000 in funding at that moment. And I used it to get into Airbnb. I did so many different things, but originally I always wanted to do real estate. So when I understood the credit game and I understood my dad had a property already, I said, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and use the funding to fix up the property. So he had a property already. Like I said, it was just sitting there collecting dust. And what I did was I took the funding and I invested into this property. So I'm gonna talk about the deal a little bit. So since he already had the property, I didn't have to purchase the property, right? So all I had to do was rehab the property. So basically, essentially what you get is something called a rehab loan. You do need to have good credit to do this. And you also need to have a down payment, right? Now, for me, I didn't need a down payment to get the rehab loan because I already had the property. So if you have a property already, you can also get a rehab loan on its own without having to put no down payment on, possibly if the property has equity. And you can use the money to rehab the property, make it look nice, make it look pretty, and then rent it out or like refinance it or sell it, right? But with me, I had the property already, so I just need a rehab loan. But if you did not, if you do not have a property at all, like if you don't have a property, then you can get something called a purchase and rehab loan. So in order for you to get this purchase and rehab loan, you would need 20% down of whatever the amount is. So let's say, for example, a property costs $50,000 and you need to rehab it for $50,000. So that means that you need $100,000 to purchase and rehab a property. In order for you to get this $100,000 to purchase and rehab the property, you need to put down 20% of what that is. So for example, if it's $100,000 that you need to put down 20%, which is $20,000. So you need to come to the closing table with $20,000, or you can use something called business credit. So this is the whole point of this video, right? Like I said, you can buy real estate with no money down. How can you do that? Well, if you need to get a loan for $100,000, you will get a business credit card for $20,000, and then you will use that as a down payment to go ahead and put down for that $100,000 loan. So that's how we do that, right? Now, Business credit cards, you don't need proof of income, and you can have a brand new LLC to get access to funding. All you need to do is make sure that you understand your personal credit and fix your personal credit so you can get access to this funding, which I talk a lot about in my other videos as well, on how you can get access to business credit so you can then use that to get another loan, which is hard money lenders, or hard money loan or private money loan and something like that, to be able to use that to invest into real estate. Okay, so again, like I said, business credit, use the business credit, put down to get the hard money loan to be able to get the purchase and rehab loan to be able to purchase and rehab a property. Now, for me, I didn't have to get a purchase and rehab loan because I already had a property. So all I did was get a rehab loan. Okay, so for me, I got a rehab loan for $75,000. And again, you need good credit for this as well. And you need the down payment, which is like 20% again, or you just, yeah, that's basically everything that you need for that. So you need the credit and the down payment. You don't need proof of income, none of that stuff, because it's a private lender. This is not a traditional bank. So you could do the same exact thing, y'all. You literally don't need any money to get started. You just need to focus on your credit, on your personal credit. So make sure that that's one of the main things you're doing, and also getting your LLC. All right. So again, like I said, I got the loan, right? It was for $75,000 that I got the loan for. I started rehabbing the property, but it cost me $130,000 altogether to rehab the property and probably pay. Also, I didn't purchase the property, but there was some back taxes and stuff like that I had to pay. So altogether, licenses, fees, everything, it cost around $130,000 to do the property. Okay, so that's basically what you would do. You would take the loan, you will fix up the property, you'll find contractors, you'll do everything that you have to do. And then what you'll do after that is either you can sell it, right, and make your money back, and then pay off the loan and make a profit. That's very simple, as you can see. Or you could do something called a cash out refinance, which is basically pulling equity out of the property. So what does that mean? That basically means that, like, if the property was worth a certain amount when you bought it compared to how much it's worth now, since it looks way better, then you would have to, then basically you could take money out of the property. So for example, the property was worth, I don't even know how much the property was worth when I first bought it, but once it was done, once I finished rehabbing the property, it was worth $230,000 once done, right? So I fixed it up. It took $130,000 to do it, and then it was then worth $230,000. So I can now sell it for $230,000 and make $100,000 in profit after I paid off the original loan of $130,000. Or I can go ahead and cash out refi, right? Which is take the money out, take the equity out of the property. So my property was worth $230,000. I pulled the equity out of the property, which was 75% of what the property is worth. So the bank said, hey, your property is worth $230,000. So I'm going to give you 75% of what it is worth, basically the equity, right? Like how much money it's worth, like how much extra money you have in there. And they gave me 75% of what it's worth, which was $172,500, right? That's how much money that they gave me. So they wrote me a check for $172,500. I took that check and I paid off the original loan of $130,000, because it took me I had to pay $130,000 was how much I used to fix up the property. So I have to pay them back first, right? I have to pay back the original loan. So I was left with like $40,000 and something like that, right? So I was left with that much money. And now I do have a mortgage though, because it's $172,500. It's kind of like another loan to pay off a loan. So I basically took out a loan to pay off the loan, right? And then now I have a mortgage every single month that I pay, which is around like $1,500 a month and stuff like that. And then what I did with this $1,500 a month mortgage, how I'm able to pay this off is I rent it. So right now I do rent out this property for $2,500 a month, and my mortgage is $1,500. So I make $1,000 in positive cash flow every single month of my investment property. So what's great about that is I can use this $1,000 to pay my car note. I can use this $1,000 to buy groceries. I can use this $1,000 to pay my rent. I can use it to do literally whatever I want, because this is passive income that's coming in my bank account every single month without me having to do literally anything, because I really don't, like, my tenant really doesn't bother me at all. So I don't really have to do nothing, and I get paid this every single month without having to do literally nothing, right? So this is why it's important to get into real estate, because what happens is you can get more. So you don't have to get one that makes you $1,000. You can get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? I also did Airbnb before. I also was able to get into Airbnb, and I used, and I was doing like, $5,000 a month off of one or 2 or 3. You get what I'm saying? So now it's like, instead of doing one that makes you 1,000, you can get 5, and now you're making $5,000 a month in positive cash flow, because you can keep repeating this process over and over and over again once you have access to funding, because there's literally unlimited amount of money in the bank. Okay, the bank is gonna give you money. The bank wants to lend you money as long as you have your credit together and you have an LLC. Now I'm gonna do a quick little recap. I want to do a quick little recap just because I want to make sure that you guys got this right. So again, you get the funding, you get the business credit, you use the credit to put down as a down payment to get a purchase and rehab loan. You take the loan and you fix up the property. Once you fix up the property, you do a cash out refinance. You take the money out the property, you take the equity out of the property, you pay off the original loan with the money that you just got after you fix up the property, and then you have a mortgage, right? Now you have a mortgage. My mortgage, again, like I said, was $1,500 a month. Then I rented it out. I either put it on Airbnb or rented it out. At first I did Airbnb, but now I rent it out. And then you make money every single month, positive cash flow with your investment property. So this is like so cool to me, y'all. Like you can literally make so much money doing this, and you can literally do it as many times as you want. Like the banks are giving you money. You have to understand, the banks will throw money at you once you get your credit fixed. Like you have to fix your credit. You have to build your credit. And by building your credit, that just means getting a credit card, right? Paying on time, maintaining your credit, showing people that you can actually, like that you can actually pay this money back. Because there's no bank that's going to give you $50,000 in funding if you can't show them that you can maintain $500 or $2,000 or $3,000. If you can't maintain $5,000 in credit, why would they give you $50,000? Why would they give you $100,000? So you just have to show that you're responsible enough with that type of money. And then they will lend you as much money as you want, and you can make as much moves as you want. Like you can do as many investments as you want. You can invest into all this real estate. You can invest into so many businesses. You can start so many things, and you can actually live financially free for the rest of your life. So if you guys want to learn more about this, make sure you click the link below and sign up for my free webinar. I'm having a free webinar. I do it on Sundays, every other Sunday or every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll show you more on how you can fix your credit, how you can build it, how you can leverage it, how you can get access to funding so you can start creating wealth for your family. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this video. I can't wait to see you guys on the inside. Bye, y'all.